I'd like to welcome all of you to this session today, our knowledge session, our masterclass. We conducted this last week, both last week and today we've got a very good response. So we know that this topic is very important for all of us right now. We are planning our 2024-25, our sales targets, and we all want to know what are those sales targets and how are we going to achieve them? What are the right marketing channels? And one thing which I find is often not known by a lot of people, exactly how many leads do we need? So we're going to be discussing that today. So I'm Suhasini Kirloskar, and I just start with a short introduction of myself. So I'm currently the founder of Market Access Consulting. This is a B2B strategy and services company. And this program today is part of our series that we run called the B2B Growth Essentials. That's various knowledge sessions that we conduct, knowledge programs that we conduct. And before this, I was chief of marketing at an IT services company in Pune. And before that, for about 5 years, I was heading the Pune office of a British government department, which used to be called UK Trade and Investment, which dealt with the trade and investment between the UK, and I was specifically focused on Pune for that. So that has been my background. Part of my background, I'm basically an MBA in marketing from NMIMS, Bombay University. So this long career of mine and my work experience as an entrepreneur, as a British government employee, and as chief of marketing at an IT company, that's given me the opportunity to observe a lot of startups, small and mid-sized companies. And I would like to mention that I'm currently also the Pune director for Keiretsu Forum, which is the world's largest angel investor network. So this exposure, whether it's my exposure as an entrepreneur, as a consultant, as a British government employee, now with an angel investor network, I have had the chance to observe a lot of startups, small and mid-sized companies, and my focus is really B2B. I've done some projects in B2C marketing, but really my focus is in B2B marketing. And so what I've seen is that founders set up a company, a business based on their expertise, their passion. And then they start by selling. So typically we all, and this includes me as well, we would all start by selling to our network, our former colleagues, our business contacts, maybe our college classmates, alumni, and so on. With that, you can always get your first few customers. We call it, we say all my business comes from referral, from word of mouth. And every business reaches a certain scale using this route. So for some people, it could be maybe they reached 1 crore rupees, somebody reached 5 crore or 10 crore or even 20 crore. And I have seen this story multiple times. But after that, if you've not put strategic and systematic sales and marketing in place, you tend to kind of plateau, reach a kind of maybe a stagnant growth. And frustratingly, this stagnation and growth can continue for a very long time. It may continue for a few years, or it may even continue for much longer than that. So we are here to solve that problem. We are here to help you to grow beyond that by putting actual scalable, systematic, and strategic sales and marketing in place. And today's masterclass is like the first step towards making that happen. So a very warm welcome to all of you. And your journey to really scaling up your business starts today and now. And your a journey at achieving your 2024-25 targets also starts now. So all of you would be having an idea of the kind of numbers that you would like to achieve next year. And I'm sure that all of you are planning for growth. We are planning for growth as well. So I speak to some founders who are expecting reasonable growth, 10, 15, 20, 30%, whereas some want 100% growth in the coming year, and some even want 200 or 300 or 400% growth, right? So founders have ambitions of different scale. But whether your targets for next year are 50 lakh rupees or a crore of rupees or 10 crore or 20 crore, the chances are that your sales projections look something like this. I'm going to load a slide. So the chances are that your targets look something like this. This is your total target split by the products you offer or the services you offer. I've just taken some very typical services, maybe based on my understanding or my industry, and taken a company that wants to do like 6 crore rupees next year. Okay, you probably set targets like this. Maybe then you split it by quarter wise or month wise. How many of you have targets like this in mind for next year? A total which is split by the different products or services. How many of you have your targets like this defined for next year? Does it look familiar? Getting yes responses, yeah. So what happens next? That's the question. Now, it's possible that you are handling business development yourself, or you have a team, or you have a single person in business development or sales. You may call them and you may say, let's do 6 crores next year. This is what we want to do. Very often you don't have an idea. I mean, we'll come to that, but you may not know exactly how many leads you need. And your business development person also may not have a very good idea how this business is going to come. They may be sitting in the meeting, she or he thinking, oh, we've done 4 crores this year. Next year, boss wants me to do 6. I don't know how it's possible. I have to say yes. I have to show some confidence. What choice do I have? So they are also looking at the target with a lot of apprehensions. And you have a target in place because you want growth and you should want growth, but you don't have a very clear picture as to where this will come from. Okay. So that is the problem. If you are giving the entire target to business development, then you may not be leveraging smart marketing. Okay. You may not be, uh, uh, may not have planned for marketing to bring in the leads to achieve this target, right? And also, you may be having somebody in marketing, but you just are telling her or him that, to do this, we'll be requiring some new pages on our website. We'll be requiring some brochures. We'll be requiring some social posts. And, that person is kind of working on a separate track. So the whole thing is not orchestrated. Your business development person, your marketing person are together, not orchestrated to help you achieve this 6 crores. Okay. So now I want to ask you, if you have made your targets like this, how many of you feel that you know exactly how many leads you need? We all want leads. The reason all of you came on the call today is because in the masterclass promotions, you saw the phrase lead generation. And I know that lead generation is our biggest draw. We all want to know how to do this lead generation. What are the right channels? What's going to work for me? But I want to ask you, when we want lead generation, do we know exactly how many leads you need? How many of you who are here today feel, yes, I know exactly how many leads I need to achieve my targets for 2024-25? Do give me a yes or a no. Okay, so I'm getting some yes, some idea. Okay. What about the others? You all know exactly how many leads you need? Yeah, I'm getting some responses saying not clearly. So right now, today itself, you will know exactly how many leads you need. You can do it while we're on the call. You can do it just after the call. When I tell you, it's going to look simple, but it's not in place in a lot of startups, small and mid-sized companies. This clarity about how many leads you need is not in place. When I tell you, it will appear simple, but it's a very important step. So let's go through with this. Okay. So to do this, we look at the typical steps in a B2B sales cycle. Again, I've taken very typical steps. You may think that this is for my company or for many consulting companies, even for many IT companies. So at the top level, at the top of the funnel, we generate some leads from a trade show maybe, or from the leads that come on our website. Then some of those people agree to get onto an exploratory call with us. Some of them agree to give us 1 hour for a presentation. After the presentation, some of them say, yeah, we want to discuss commercial, so please send your proposal. And then after the proposal, some of them call us for negotiations. Some of them don't call us for negotiations. They just ghost us. And then after the negotiation, some of them result in contracts. Okay, if you are selling your products online, then your sales cycle may look something like this. People visit the website, some of them search for products, they view different products, they read reviews, they add products to the cart, and then they check out some of the products. Now, these are just typical stages in a sales cycle. Now, what are the numbers? You need to know exactly how many leads you need in the coming year. Define that for the last 1 year or many years, how many numbers are typically moving from one stage to the next. So, for example, I've just again taken some very typical numbers. You can think that these are the numbers for my business, and also these are the numbers that I have seen in many other companies in B2B. So it could be that for every 100 leads at the top of the funnel, 40 agree to an exploratory call, 20 agree to a presentation, 15 invite you for a proposal, 7 invite you for a negotiation, and from the 7 negotiations, you actually get 4 contracts. Now, these numbers actually tell you everything that you need to know about your sales and marketing, but we don't have the time to get into that right now. But as far as leads are concerned, you need to get 100 leads to close 4 contracts. Okay. So now coming back to our targets, let's assume that if my revenue target is 1 crore rupees and my average ticket size, usually the contract I get or the projects I get are of about 2.5 lakh rupees. So I need 40 deals, contracts, not leads. Don't confuse between deals, contracts, and leads. Okay. So deals or contracts, I require 40 closures. Okay. So if I want 40 deals, because I get 4 on every 100, that's why I need 1,000 leads at the top of the funnel. So for this 1 crore target, I need 1,000 leads at the top of the funnel. Now we need to think, where will those leads come from? So let's go back to our targets. Now this is how the target looks. Okay. So we have the target, which is a total of 6 crore. But now I've put the average ticket size for different types of project. Maybe one project, it's at 25 lakh rupee average ticket size. Another one is 12 lakh rupees. Another one is 15 lakh rupees. Another one is 10 lakh rupees. Different projects have different average ticket size. So the number of contracts I need, which is your the number of contracts that you may call closures, you may call deals, that is the number. I need 7, 13, 4, 7, 8. But we saw that I need 25 times the number of leads. Okay, and those numbers, 25 times the number of leads, is quite average for a lot of B2B companies. 4 on 100 is actually pretty average. So when we multiply by 25, the number of leads we need for each of our offerings is now there in the rightmost column. So now if you look at it, the number of leads on the right-hand column looks very large. Okay, it looks really large. Like for a 6 crore rupee company, hundreds and hundreds of leads required. How many of you feel this looks quite large, quite high? The number looks quite high. The number of leads you need is quite high. Generally, when you will do this exercise, you will find that the number of leads you require is much higher than what you had expected. Because if you have grown your business by, word of mouth and all, you'll probably think this year also I will pick up the phone, I'll get 4 or 5 referrals, my business will grow. And then suddenly when you put it in this table, you realize you need hundreds of leads. So it's a kind of a, like, what is this? Where does this come from? So I'll tell you how to kind of bring it under control. So one thing is that some of this you may give to, first of all, some of this may come from repeat business or existing customers. That helps to bring down the number of leads. So that's why we say it's so important to retain customers. That's why we say it's so important to have customer loyalty, because the cost of acquiring new customers is much higher. That's a different subject. So the point is that we have to think that from 6 crores, okay, maybe 1.5 crore or 2 crore is going to come from existing customers, is going to come from repeat business. So that brings down the number of leads we require. And then we also may give some of this as a target to our direct sales people, our business development people, saying, okay, now out of the remaining target of 4.5 crore, you have to just get 1 crore. You have to generate the leads and close the business, what we call hunting. So hunt. So the business which is coming from existing customers or repeat customers, we call farming. When we tell the business development team, go out and do your own lead generation and your closures, whether you use Sales Navigator, 4 to 5% is conversion rate on 100 leads. Yes, 100 on 100 leads after they've got all the way down the funnel. That's what we saw, right? That was the number we saw, and it was quite average. It's about a 50% conversion at the negotiation stage. Almost half of the people who call you for a negotiation may convert, but from the lead stage, it is about 4 to 5%. Yes. Okay, so we're talking about how to not have to go after so many hundreds of leads. So one thing is that we look at what is the business from repeat customers, and we cultivate that. We maybe have an account manager for them, or we have a business development manager to get that business. So that is called farming. Then we may give some of the leads as a target to our business development team, saying whether you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, or you do some direct calling, or you attend some trade shows, walk up to people and you generate leads and close them. That's hunting. So maybe you can give 1 crore to them, and then marketing has to deliver leads for the remaining whatever 3.5 crore. So that way, this number of leads that you need to generate comes down. Now, it's important to define this number. What happens is, if your number is very high, you will put a lot of bandwidth, and you will put a lot of effort and time and money into trying to do lead generation at a very high scale, and that may take up too much of your energy. If the number is too low, then your marketing will not have the scale or the bandwidth or the energy or the budget to achieve those leads. So it's important to get the scale right. And so today, when you have your target, you can do this exercise as I showed you. It's simple arithmetic. Define what will come from repeat customers, define what will come from maybe business development direct, and now define how many leads must marketing deliver. And now in the next part of our masterclass today, we'll see where these leads have to come from. So where will marketing leads come from? So what we'll do is we'll first take a look at the latest research reports, global data, which is as of end 2023. Some of them are even 2024, because I want to show you what is showing in B2B marketing worldwide. It's not just that I'm saying it. And then we will look at how do we take that for our own business. So then I will give you my personal recommendations. Okay. So now we're looking at one research which has been done by First Page Sage. This is their data. Now, the methodology of this research is not very well, it's not very clear. They've not published the methodology, like how many companies were surveyed and so on. But they've just said that this is based on a lot of data that they've collected from clients over a period of some 5 to 6 years. So while the methodology is not totally clear, but there is still a lot of value in this data, and we should take the value that we can get out of it. So now these lead generation channels for B2B are ranked in descending order of ROI, return on investment. If anybody wants to know how return on investment is calculated, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll just move on. It's a simple ROI calculation. Then they've estimated the monthly cost of that lead generation channel. Now, this is for US market. Those of you who are targeting US market may have to deal with some of these costs. Some of you who are targeting other markets like India may find that you can do similar lead generation in India at a lower cost. Now, if you look at the highest ROI channels, but then some of them are extremely difficult also. Some of them also take a long time to get results. So you need to balance these items. So public speaking, here public speaking doesn't mean just to be invited to speak, like maybe in a college or in some, small network or in a BNI or whatever, but to be invited to speak where your target audience is attending. And that has a cost, because if I want to be speaking in an event where my particular, high ticket, high potential prospects may be attending, the CEOs may be attending, then I may have to pay sponsorship to be speaking there. And that's why there is a high cost for that, for those kind of events. And we all know that. Then there is thought leadership and SEO. Now here they've clubbed thought leadership and SEO, that's content marketing and SEO. Then there's webinars, or the way we are doing right now, that we kind of publish something or create an online event like a webinar, a masterclass, and get people into the funnel using that. Then there's email marketing, which is the oldest, absolutely the oldest technique. And I wanted to show you this data. It's still on number 4. Because otherwise, if I recommend email marketing, you might think, for 2024, why is Suhasini recommending email marketing? Is she really out of touch? But it's not because I'm out of touch. It's because the data also shows email marketing is working. And for our clients, we are finding over dozens and dozens and dozens of campaigns, maybe hundreds of campaigns, email marketing is delivering solid, good results. Okay. So a lot of people say, I don't open emails. Why should I send emails? But no, you need to look at it differently. Then podcasts, then account-based marketing. Now, account-based marketing was very much hyped up, flavor of the month, 7, 8 years ago. Today, if you see, it's not even at the top of the ROI. And we were told the reason for doing account-based marketing is for ROI, ROI, ROI. But now, if you see, it's not really at the top of ROI. Paid social media, that means ads on platforms like LinkedIn or Instagram, Twitter, and so on. Trade shows, meaning participating in trade shows. Here, the cost is extremely high because these are US costs. If you are planning to participate in US trade shows, yes, you will find that these are the costs. Direct mail, that means physically sending something, a product sample or a flyer or whatever by mail. And then PPC and SEM, that is your pay-per-click or your SEM, search engine marketing, or what we call Google Ads, and that's at the bottom of the table. And so much aligned to our own experience, we actually do not even recommend Google Ads, especially to small and medium businesses in B2B sector. So very much aligned with what we are saying. To those who asked about US, almost all this data is about the US, and we are going to be talking about our recommendations, so it will cover that aspect here. Now, in today's session, I'm not going to be talking about the fancy stuff. I will just mention it in one word or one line like ABM. I'm not going to be discussing that in detail. If you have a question about it, you can just email us that question. We can take it offline because we have about 3 or 4 channels which are simple but very effective. So we're going to be talking about those. Okay. Okay, one more research report. This is the State of B2B Pipeline Growth Survey. And this is based on the survey of 500 marketers in the USA and UK, and how many people are actually using a particular channel. So, of course, people can answer more than one channel. Like I may be using 3 channels or 4 channels. Now, what came out is the one that is being used the maximum is paid social, that is your paid LinkedIn ads. Email is extremely high, and I told you we are finding email to be very effective. Display advertising. Now, display advertising here has been separated from PPC or search. So display is when you have a little image ad or a video ad that may appear on some news portal. It may appear even, when somebody's typing something in Gmail and an ad appears on the side with an image. That is display. That is the Google Display Network. Okay. Paid search, that is again your PPC, your Google ads, your search engine marketing is appearing somewhere in the middle of the table. Events is appearing lower. Content syndication. So content syndication is when you write a piece of content. Like typically, if you write a white paper or an ebook or a blog post, it's published on your website. But if you spend some money and say, I want this to be published on some other portals, on some other, online magazines, on some, maybe even through certain popular accounts, when you syndicate the same piece of content by paying across other online portals and publications, that's called content syndication. And intent signals is when you start trying to do marketing based on intent signals. For example, someone has published a requirement for a certain type of consultant, that gives you an intent signal. Or someone has put a LinkedIn message saying please recommend a certain product. Now, intent signals as a marketing channel is a little tricky because usually people talk about intent signals that they are getting on their own marketing. So for example, if I emailed you a white paper and you opened my white paper, I'm getting some intent signal. If I announce a webinar and you attend my webinar, I'm getting an intent signal because I have the registration link. I own this property, so I can get your intent signal. But then there are also some products which say that they will survey what's going on. They will do some social listening. They will look at what's happening on X, means Twitter. They will look at what's happening on LinkedIn, and they will tell you that there is maybe intent signal from these companies. So that's a bit of a different thing. Whether you're getting the intent signals on your platforms, on your channels, or you are buying intent signals from other channels. But it's right now not very clear as a channel. And also, as I discussed today, I'm not going to be going deep into account-based marketing, content syndication, and intent signals. If you would like to discuss these, you can just drop us an email. We can set up a separate call about them. Okay, so now we're taking a look at one more piece of research, which is the Chief Marketer 2023 B2B Marketing Outlook Survey. And based on this, again, it's ranked by ROI, right? Which channels are giving you the highest ROI? Here it says content marketing. So here content marketing has been separated, but it's, I think SEO is not mentioned separately, but content marketing and SEO go very much hand in hand. Content marketing is when you publish a good piece of content and somebody will actually value it and provide you their contact to be able to download it. We all do this. We all want to read a particular white paper or an ebook. So we enter a little online form and download it. That is actually content marketing. We also call it lead magnets, and you can set up these on your website. Live events, yes. Email marketing, again, it's coming very high on the ROI table. Word of mouth is very high. We all know that. Search, now this is Google search, again coming somewhere in the middle. In-person sales, social, affiliate marketing. I think we all know what that is. Again, a very old concept. Print and direct mail, physically mailing something. PPC and display, that is your Google ads. Okay, the search in road number 5 is SEO, because PPC and display are in row number 10. And influencer marketing, that is paying for people who have a large following on social. So here again, we come to know something about the ROI that people are seeing. Now, based on this research and based on what we are seeing for many campaigns that we are running, I'm going to give you my recommendations of the 4 channels that must be there in your plan in the coming year. So now I'm going to come to what are the 4 things, 4 lead generation channels that your marketing plan must include. And not only must your plan include, but you must also achieve them effectively, manage to kind of manage them really well. Okay, so kickstart your lead generation engines now with content marketing and SEO. I've clubbed those together. Webinars, yes, do add that as a strategy in the coming year. Email marketing and inside sales. So none of the reports suggested inside sales, which is the calling part. When we do email and calling together, synchronized, we're getting amazing results. Social media and video marketing. Again, people have mentioned social, but they've not mentioned video separately. I'm just highlighting that. And social media sometimes works a little differently from what we expected to. We'll discuss that. So now for each of these, I'm going to tell you why and how. So content marketing and SEO, we create and distribute valuable and relevant content to specific target audiences. So when I say this is a masterclass about how to achieve your growth targets for 2024-25, then you find this topic to be of value. You come here and some of you will become business for us, now or in the future in some way, small or big. But because this content is of value, you have come here and you are with us. So although this comes under webinar, but it's also the content marketing of it is also important. Content and webinars, content actually is an engine that drives many other things. Nothing works without content. Email also doesn't work without content. But the engine which depends completely on content is SEO, search engine optimization. Are you getting relevant traffic to your website? Are you getting organic leads to your website? So effective content marketing is a very powerful lead generation tool. It helps us to take the position of a trusted advisor to buyers. It facilitates the buyer journey by providing answers to buyers' questions. So if a person has a lot of questions in the buyer cycle, then you don't depend on your business development person to always solve it, but you have good content available. Send them this data sheet, send them this ROI calculator, send them this, so that those answers are there in the form of content. And then because you have answered the questions, for example, if I tell you Let's do a webinar. You ask me, hey, what's the ROI on a webinar? I say to my colleague Parth, send them the sheet that shows ROI on webinar campaigns, right? And then I publish a blog post. So that has helped you to get an answer. It has helped me to take the sales cycle forward smoothly. But then if I write a blog post, what is the ROI on webinars? Then other people like you who have the same question will read the blog post and become leads. So it generates leads as other people have similar questions. So there are two ways to look at SEO content. One is purely keyword based. Actually, the next slide is about how we'll talk about that. Then improve your website search engine ranking, because Google loves fresh and high quality content, and become an essential ingredient for emailers, digital ads, and SEO. None of that work without content. So that is the why part. And how, I'm going to just give you 1 minute to read the how part. So when it comes to content marketing and SEO, there are two approaches. You can either take a very, very keyword approach. And there are clients, we've had clients where we've looked at dozens and dozens and sometimes hundreds of keywords and written literally hundreds of blog posts, even in a single month. Our output for blog posts has been hundreds of blog posts in a month. And that is the kind of content that helps to really achieve those rankings. So that could be a very, very keyword approach. Another approach is what I told you about the answers in the sales cycle. There is an excellent book called They Ask You Answer. If you would like, you can read it. It really tells you what's the value of answering those questions in the sales cycle and how a single blog post can be worth so much in that. So those are the two approaches. Other than that, whatever is given on the slide, I will not read out. It's all quite easy and self-explanatory. Okay, so webinars. So with a webinar, we engage more deeply with prospects and showcase our expertise. We get a whole 1 hour with our prospects. So they provide a platform where you can evangelize like a new concept. If you are doing something very innovative, you can evangelize that. You can showcase your expertise. You can persuade people. You can showcase your success stories, and maybe you can demo your products also. Now, if you are doing this in partnership with others who have a strong social presence, then you can get high visibility at low cost. So we are doing a webinar next week for a very small brand. But the two other speakers we've invited are from large multinational corporations. And once their marketing communication teams get into the picture, they will actually promote it, they will actually reshare it. Each of those speakers also, because they work in companies that have tens of thousands of employees, even their personal LinkedIn networks are large, and that's how you get a high visibility at a very low cost. Webinars can be used very effectively at the top, middle, and bottom of the funnel, but the topics are different. So this is the why, and we'll come to the how. So when it comes to the title of the webinar, try not to make it very salesy. People will not attend a webinar because you want to demo your product. So don't make a webinar about how lovely my product is, how great my product is. That will rarely work. If it is a particular problem, for example, if it's something like how to reduce attrition in your organization, or if it's about where to find AI talent, then the people who attend that, I know that because they are attending this particular question is something that is their objective. They have that as an objective, or they have that as a challenge. So that gives me an idea of their mindset. So always announce a webinar title which is either would be somebody's objective or it would be somebody's challenge. That is always a good practice. And then if, like I said, invite other partners to come because they have their own social presence. Share valuable knowledge. So the sales part of it should be just a small percent. In 1 hour, keep your salesy part just to maybe 10-15 minutes, not more. The rest of it should actually give you value. And to increase the audience of your webinar, you could do LinkedIn live streaming. If you have a paid Zoom account, you can do LinkedIn live streaming. That's the way I've done it, but there may be other routes to do it as well. That increases your audience. But you could always use the recorded webinars, on your YouTube and on your other social channels. So that is about the how part of it. Okay, so now we come to email and inside sales. This is a way to build your pipeline in a consistent and cost-effective way. When I was writing why about email, I was actually laughing. I was like, Suhasini, why? Why are we talking about email? It's been around for so long that it was actually difficult for me to write this why. The only reason I'm writing this why is because email is working, delivering results, delivering leads consistently and at a low cost. And we are finding this across so many campaigns, across so many industries, across so many clients. That's the why. So here is the how. Whatever your target country is, do check the legality. There are laws governing email campaigns. For example, in Singapore, at least the law says you cannot just email a database because you could actually go to jail for that. So if you have a company in Singapore or if you reside there and you want to do email campaigns, be very, very careful. Or even if you're targeting Singapore companies, please be very careful. The reason why in the data that we saw, the 3 research reports we saw, the reason that Google Ads, PPC are there, even though ROI is low, is because PPC and Google Ads are a way to capture email addresses. Like if I do a campaign saying download a white paper, I do a Google ad, people come to that page, people download the white paper, I get those emails. Then because they have downloaded the white paper and given me permission, I can send them an email. And that's why we, in those countries where the laws are very difficult, you cannot just subscribe to Apollo or whatever and just send emails. We are doing that here. Many companies are doing that here. We're just lucky we've not been fined. But if you are working in India, you also have a company in Germany, and you're sending emails in Germany, please be careful because your company in Germany could be fined. The fines in EU are tough. In the US, it is state by state, but some of the states, yeah. I have not heard that many cases in the US. US is generally more tolerant towards marketing. It's a very marketing oriented society. But in EU, the fines are tough. And I have heard that the laws are very difficult in Singapore as well. So be careful. And that is the reason why sometimes for international markets, you may need to do Google Ads or PPC in order to be able to get email addresses that you can say, these are subscribers, they have given me permission to email them. Also, with email, do think of inside sales. So when we do email and inside sales together, we get the best results. You send an email, you see who opened the email, and then you call those people. They have opened your email once or twice or thrice. When you call them, they are much more receptive. They don't bang down the phone. They want to listen to what you have to say, and they become leads. So that has to kind of go in a very good rhythm, the email campaign and the inside sales. That's how it works best. And we have some of our clients, for example, in the energy sector, we know that every time we add, say 1,000 database, we get 12 leads. And these are 12 high quality leads where the projects are like ticket size of 1 crore rupees. And that's happening just with a simple, email and phone. So that's why I'm saying this is a very important lead generation channel. Make sure it's working effectively for you. Social media and video, this is a brand building and lead generation channel. So now why am I suddenly talking about brand building when I was talking about lead generation? Well, research shows there are 3 or 4 reasons. One is 84% of B2B executives will view social media content while making a purchase decision. So somewhere in that sales funnel that we saw, they are going to be looking for information on maybe LinkedIn, or if it is relevant, it could be Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So that's one reason. The second reason is that research shows that of all the sources of traffic to websites globally, the largest source is direct. So what is direct? What does direct traffic to your website mean? Anyone wants to say? Direct traffic to my website means that people actually came to Google and said markeraxisconsulting.com and came to my website. That means that they did not find me on Google, but the brand building that I have done, maybe on LinkedIn or wherever, has actually helped them to come to my website direct. And that's why this is so important, that even though I can tell you LinkedIn company pages are hardly generating leads, hardly. But still, we do good content on LinkedIn company pages 2 to 3 times a week. And it is important because people will like what you've said on your LinkedIn company page and will look for your website. Okay, that's the other reason. So these are some of the reasons why social media is very important. And now we come to the how. People will engage, and people may put in inquiries and queries, business inquiries, much more likely on the company leader's personal LinkedIn rather than the company page. As I told you, company pages are hardly generating leads, but people want to engage with people. People relate to people. It's not like, some bot is going to put an inquiry on your company LinkedIn page. That's not happening. It's going to be an important person, a decision maker who likes your profile or your leader's profile and is putting an inquiry. And that's why optimizing your profile, making sure the right keywords are there, making sure there's a good photo, these things are important. And the content that you publish, the kind of content that usually goes viral, either emotional content, fast hacks to success, truth and honesty, or unique perspective. And we don't have the time to go into examples of these, but these will help you to be visible so that your decision makers will kind of see your profile, see your content, and engage with you. That's how leads are happening on LinkedIn. That's where my leads are coming from, not just today, but for a very long time, for many, many years. Yeah. So I hope all of you are doing these things on LinkedIn. So after the, we saw the why and the how, and to make this happen, we today had just 1 hour, and there's a lot beyond each of these. Each of these 4 areas, there are tools, there are best practices. You need to know typically what kind of response should I get, what kind of analytics can I get, what results should I expect. And that's why we didn't want to just say that this is a 1 hour class and you go and figure it out. To make this happen for you, we do have a way. How do you engage with us? Typically, people engage with us because we become their consultants, we become their outsourced marketing team, we become their partners. But again, we also have limitations. We may not be able to engage with all of you. And so we have a way for you to quickly put these practices in place beyond what we learned today, but to go to learn more, but not just to learn, but to actually implement. And so we have announced a learning plus implementation fast track. And for this, there is an April cohort, because April is a very important month, the first month of the financial year. This is for only 10 participants. What we're doing first is you help us to understand your sales and marketing objectives for 2024-25. So we are now on the 21st of March. By the 31st of March, we'll ask you to tell us what are you trying to achieve. We will not ask you for any confidential information or anything that you would not want to share. But we would like to understand what are your challenges, what are you trying to achieve. Okay. And then we have weekly knowledge sessions for 4 weeks. That's a 3 hour session where we cover these 4 modules that we discussed today. These are on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the dates are given here. And we go into each of these areas that we discussed today. We talk about the tools, the templates, industry standards, your budgets, if there are any AI tools, how do you track progress, how do you view the analytics. So that's your 4 weeks of knowledge. But during the week, you also apply what we learned. Okay, so if we say this is what a typical email campaign cadence should be like, this is what the typical email campaign content should be like, then in the following week, you actually set up your email campaign. And during that week, if you have any questions, you can schedule a discussion with me to discuss those questions. That's why this is limited to 10 companies. So you implement the tactics and you schedule discussions with Suhasini, with me, in the following week. And that support is on until the 4th of May. So this is a 4-week fast track cohort, and it's at a very low price. for those who close before 31st March. It's at a really, really low price of 9,000 rupees, which will help you to put a really scaled up sales and marketing plan in place. Not just plan, but actually achieve that plan. So to participate in this cohort, you just need to drop us a line with your company name and GST number. We will email you an invoice. Now, the presentation that I shared with you today, this will be emailed to all those who attended the call. So you will have a copy of this presentation. You will have a copy of this slide. You can see our email address. If you prefer to pay by credit card or GPay, then we'll be sharing a link and you can drop an email. You can just tell Parth, I've paid online, and you can drop him a line. And then we're going to ask you to fill in a Google form to understand your current sales and marketing readiness, which we will study before 31st March. So we are prepared for the first class on the 6th of April. The best way to get viewers for webinar is you need to have a good topic. You need to have, there has to be an approach from multiple sides, but mainly it will be email and social. And if you can also get calling, then it increases the participation very much. Now, for today's webinar, we've not done calling because we didn't have, our own team is busy doing webinars for our clients. So we didn't actually have bandwidth to do any calling for today's masterclass. So we've just done, emailing and some social media. For our clients, we do email, social media, and we do also calling. That's the best way. That is the way that you get the maximum response. To attract Dubai real estate sector, well, we are doing some projects in Dubai right now. Dubai is now taking on a lot of things that have been there in other markets for a lot of time. For example, we are seeing that they are asking us to recommend CRM, whereas many other companies would be using CRM for some years. But Dubai market is become very attractive right now. And as far as lead generation channels are concerned, you need to look a little bit about who is the decision maker and where are they, what is their kind of, you need to understand their media consumption a little bit. For example, are they on LinkedIn? Are they spending time on LinkedIn? Are they attending any live events? Which are those events? And are they, email is definitely good. Would it make sense for you to do some physical mail? Because you know exactly who it is and you can mail them something, some good samples or whatever. So the answer would be based on, like, we need to brainstorm a bit about what is it that they are consuming. You know, if you say that, decision makers are not on LinkedIn, then I would not recommend you spend much of time on LinkedIn. We need to kind of go into that. I hope that helps. There are going to be social channels, and you can actually do campaigns for a particular region, so that would be helpful. Best source to get more knowledge about lead generation. Yeah, that's exactly what we have designed this workshop for, because each of these 4 channels for lead generation is actually, there's so much happening now. There are AI tools, there are various, you need to know that, okay, what should be my budget, what should be my team. So that's exactly what this is planned for, and very, very B2B specific. A lot of the knowledge that is available, like for example, if you do a course on Udemy about email marketing, it is likely to be very generic about B2C as well. And so it becomes difficult to find value, like take out what is applicable out of that. So that's exactly what we have designed this April cohort for. Yes, that's true. Not just Google, but any tool that you use, whether you use Google, if you use a tool like Brevo or like Mailchimp or Zoho Campaign, high bounce rates will cause a problem. And many of us actually do something like, we subscribe to something like Apollo. Apollo, we are finding accuracy quite low. Best of, in some of our campaigns, we've seen as low as 85% accuracy. And that will cause you a problem with Google or with your email tools. If you have a high ticket sale, like if your every contract is quite a high ticket, I would recommend you invest in a high quality database. For some of our clients, we have used Dun and Bradstreet, where we're getting more than 95% accuracy. And with Dun and Bradstreet, if you have invested in 1,000 contacts paid them for 1,000 contacts and you find that, 50 of them are, or some number is not 50, whatever, some number more than a limit are not good, they will actually replace that. So it becomes helpful. And also with Dun & Bradstreet, you get phone numbers, you actually get mobile numbers. So the calling can become, really easily synchronized. You do the email campaign, somebody can call. It's an investment. It's a lot more than Apollo. But then if your ticket for every contract is high, it becomes, there's a good ROI on that investment. So thanks a lot. I'm just going to end by saying, may the financial year 2024-25 be a bumper year for each of you. And please stay connected with me on LinkedIn. Really appreciate our interaction today. Thank you.